Let's start with this first article today from MarketWatch. I see more fear than any time in my business career, says BlackRock's Larry Fink. He says, what's going on in China is a great example of fear. Consumers are saving 35% of their disposable income following the health crisis. When we see the savings rate decline and the consumer spending more, that will indicate hope. So Larry Fink thinks that we should just all spend, continue to spend, because that's going to stop a recession. See, he believes that if we just all spend money, that's going to stop the recession. That if you're saving money, that's fear. I believe the people of China know exactly what's going on, what's coming. They know that there is the potential for war, the issue with Taiwan. They know that we're going to see a global depression. I think the majority of that country knows what's going on, and they're preparing because they buy lots of gold. The government buys gold. The citizens of China buy gold. Now they're stacking money, and so they're putting money away. 35% of their disposable income they are saving. And Larry Fink says, no. They should be spending it. That's when we know that there's hope. When we see that their savings rate declines and that the consumer spends more money. Boy, oh boy. I mean, you really got to watch out for people like this. That is really, in my opinion, very, very dangerous. And it just shows the difference between the people of China and how much more educated and aware they are compared to the people right here in the United States. Fox Business, key Fed inflation gauge accelerated again in August as high prices persist. PCE, Personal Consumption Expenditures Index, showed consumer prices rose 0.4% from the previous month, up 3.5% year over year, and that is up 3.3% from last month. Consumer spending rose just 0.4% in August compared to 0.9% in July. It is only going to get worse, ladies and gentlemen. It is only going to slow down. People have less money to spend. But remember, they're being forced to spend more to get less. Now you add the student loan repayment to this mess, and we're going to see huge headwinds for the U.S. economy. Here's another one from CNBC. UAW announces new strikes at GM and Ford plants, spares Stellantis, citing momentum in talks. 7,000 more union workers are about to go on strike. This is costing, so far, this has been costing the U.S. economy billions of dollars. And it's going to get much worse. Now we're talking about a government shutdown taking place Sunday night. So we're watching all these strikes taking place. A government shutdown now looming Sunday night. Inflation is extremely sticky. The average household is suffering unlike any other time in U.S. history. Prices of everything continue to go up. I told you yesterday, super unleaded at Chevron out here, $7.07. And you know what? It's going higher. You're looking at over 7.5% for a 30-year fixed mortgage right now. It's going higher. I do believe that we're going to see 10% plus mortgage rates here in the U.S. It's coming. Bond yields, 10-year bond yields going over 5%. It's all beginning, ladies and gentlemen. It's not going to reverse course. It's not going to stop. It's going to get much, much worse. And you have got to continue to prepare for this. Citigroup CEO Jane Fraser sees cracks emerging among some consumers as savings dries up. We're hearing a lot about savings. You have a savings rate here in America of 3.5%. Think about that. After you pay all the bills, say out of every $100, after you pay all the bills, all your taxes, what do you have left? You have $3.5 out of $100 left. How in the world are things going to improve when you have a savings rate of 3.5%, national debt over $33 trillion, you've got unfunded liabilities of $190 trillion, we've had 4 bank collapses, you have mortgage rates over 7.5%, 10-year bond yields at where are we at today? They did get them down. I think we're about 4.57. and climbing. Nobody has any money. Credit's getting tapped out. We're now on the verge of a credit crisis. And then you see what's happening socially across the cities, across America here, where it is just unbelievable. It's unfathomable how far we have gone down the toilet here, ladies and gentlemen. Fraser said we are paying attention to the lower FICO consumer where the cracks are forming. Watch how fast people with good FICO scores, watch how fast those credit scores can go to subprime. Once people begin to get late on the house payments, or they lose the house, they default, they can't make the car payments, they can't make the credit card payments, they can't make the student loan payments. Watch how fast those 750 plus FICOs, those 800 FICOs fall into the 6s and the 5s. Watch how fast that can happen. I think Jane Fraser, she might be seeing cracks emerging with people with lower FICO scores, but I hope they're paying attention to how quickly those good prime FICO scores can collapse. Housing market could hit another bump as student loan payments resume. This on Fox Business Today. Brace for financial shock, ladies and gentlemen, especially if you're in the real estate industry. This is going to be an additional headwind on top of people losing their jobs, on top of people whose wages are not keeping up with inflation, whose wages are actually going down. Now people, 40 plus million people, are going to have to pay back this debt now. And guess what that means? That means they're not buying a home anytime soon. If you think it's bad now, you ain't seen nothing yet, ladies and gentlemen. And the people in the mortgage industry and in the real estate industry, they are getting absolutely pummeled. But this is going to begin very, very soon. We're at the end of the month here. This repayment starts in October, $15.8 billion. That is not going to be going back into the U.S. economy. This is going to affect all your retail stores, all the Kohl's, all the Marshalls, the Nordstroms, the Macy's, the Nike stores, you name it. It's going to affect all these stores because people now have got to pay their debts back. And it's going to be very, very difficult for these people to do it in this climate now. We're in a very, very serious environment here. And I think we're going to see a time, where a lot of people didn't want to go back to work. People didn't want to work. They got spoiled. Let's face it, they got spoiled. When you inject $7 trillion into the economy and people could sit at home and get $2,500 checks, stimulus checks, and they were getting unemployment and $1,000, unemployment benefits, and the money was just rolling in. And then they said you didn't even have to pay your rent, or you could put your mortgage in a moratorium. You didn't have to pay your house payment. So people got very, very spoiled, and a lot of people just didn't want to go back to work. And I think America's going to see a huge wake-up call, because I think when people begin to get hungry, they'll do anything to feed themselves, feed their families. And we've gotten so lazy, and we've had this mindset that, the system can just keep sending us checks, it's fine. And we've been so spoiled, and we expect other people to pay our bills. And it's all coming to an end. The cheap, easy money's over. And now these people are going to go into shock. They really are. And they're going to wish that they had a job. Then they're going to want to go out and try and find a job. But remember, we have a lot of people coming to America now from all over the world. They're coming. And they're going to take a lot of jobs. And so a lot of people who didn't want to work, who thought that they would get free food and free money forever, when they finally come to the realization that they're going to have to go work, I hope you find a job. I really, really do. I do wish that there was better opportunity and better jobs in America. But at the end of the day, when people go hungry, they'll do anything. They'll do things they never thought humanly possible to feed themselves, feed their families. I think one of the worst things that you could possibly go through is hunger. And even worse than that, watching your kids go hungry. People depend on the system. They depend on the system for food and money and even protection. They believe that, if we get more police, we're going to be more protected. But remember, by wanting more police, you're relying more on the government to protect you. So why not rely less on the government and be able to protect yourself? Be a stronger better shaped person, have more skills, know how to defend yourself, have the right mindset, the right tools in order to do that, then you don't have to be so dependent on the system. So again, yeah, we can ask for more police, put more police in the cities, and we can, hopefully that's gonna solve the situation. But it's really not, because if the people themselves cannot protect themselves and they're always reliant on the government or on the system to protect them, time and time again, they fail. Time and time again, the police don't show up. The system cannot protect everybody. I think that as a culture, as a society, the more educated we are, the more that we can protect ourselves, the more that we act like central banks, the more that we are self-sufficient and less dependent on the system. I just think as a culture, as a people, as a country, we're just better off. We're stronger and more self-sufficient. Why do we keep relying on the system for everything? The money, the food, the protection. It doesn't work, ladies and gentlemen. United Airline pilots approved new contract with up to 40% raises. So American Airlines has gotten a raise. Delta got a raise earlier in the year. My question again is, how are we getting back to 2% inflation when we're paying pilots 40% increases, UPS drivers $170,000, and now we're paying JetBlue flight attendants, they're getting a 5% raise. And how about this? This on the Hedge today. California raises minimum wage for fast food workers. The average wage for fast food workers in California in 2022 was $16.21. Currently, they earn an average of $16.60 per hour, just over $34,000 a year. California is home to 500,000 fast food workers. Now they're going to raise it to $20 per hour. So you're going to pay more to fly on a plane. You're going to pay more to have a package shipped. You're going to pay more to go to a fast food restaurant. Again, how are we getting back to 2% inflation? $7.07 for gasoline out here. You'll be paying $15 for a Big Mac. You'll be paying $18 for a Whopper. You're going to go to In-N-Out. It's going to be $17. I mean, where does this end? I want everybody to make money. Don't get me wrong, but the fast food industry was never meant to be a career, ladies and gentlemen. Talked about this a week or two ago. These fast food jobs were meant for high school kids, college kids, retirees, people looking for a little part-time money, not careers. $20 an hour. We're turning these hospitality type jobs into careers. And they were never meant to be careers, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we want people to make a good, decent wage. But if we keep paying, why not just pay them $50 an hour? Because somebody will write me and go, oh, these people deserve $20 an hour. Why don't they deserve $50 an hour? Why not pay the UPS drivers $250? I think $170 is not enough. Pay them $250. Why not pay the airline pilots $500,000 a year? Where does it end? How about we stop spending all this money and get rid of all this inflation and actually have a dollar that actually has some purchasing power? How about we stop taxing people to the extreme? We have a country that is completely, severely overtaxed. Everything is taxed. Your income's taxed. You go to the store, you buy food, that's taxed. You go buy clothes, that's taxed. You go get an oil change, that's taxed. Gas is taxed. Everything's taxed. At the end of the day, what's left out of the dollar you earned? So maybe if we cut back on the taxes, cut back on the spending, and our dollar had more purchasing power, and people could keep more of what they were making, we wouldn't have to pay fast food workers $20 an hour. $20, then it'll be $30 an hour. It's just, where do you draw the line? You're not going to give people enough raises to outpace the rate of inflation. We're trying to beat inflation by giving people more money, which in return is just raising the price of everything. You cannot just give people enough raises to beat inflation. Inflation is here because we've printed $7 trillion. You got to shut the printing presses down. You got to raise interest rates. You got to stop spending. You got to stop taxing. That's the only way people have a chance at their jobs. And then maybe you actually create real jobs in America with real opportunity where people can actually earn a good wage, have a 40-hour work week, where we actually produce and make things right here in America. if you think that you're going to buy a house and live the American dream, living or working at McDonald's or Burger King or Taco Bell, it's not going to happen. It is not going to happen. But I think this is a total disservice. And we're also, here's another problem too, is you're telling these business owners, these businesses, what they have to pay their employees. I believe in a free market. I think the employer should be able to dictate what they want to pay. And, you know, if people don't like it, they don't have to work there. And so, you know, you look at like In-N-Out hamburgers here, they pay very, very well. And the service there is always great. And what I love is when they give you your change, they actually put the coins in your hand first, then the dollar bills with your receipt on top of that. And when you go to most other places, they just put the cash in your hands and then they throw the coins on top of it and it just falls all over the place. So, but yeah, In-N-Out has always paid a little bit more and they've always gotten better quality workers. But when do they have to say, hey, we're now competing against everybody else? McDonald's is going to have to pay $20. Burger King's everybody's going to have to pay $20. So they want the best workers. So they're going to have to probably pay more. You're going to see In-N-Out go, hey, well, you know, we'll pay 22 or 23 or 25 for the best workers here. And then the price of the burger goes up. So I don't know. I don't get it, but I think that it should be up to the business owners what they want to pay and the free market. And if it's not enough, the quality workers are not going to go there and work. But when did we all of a sudden say, hey, we've got to pay people all this money because these fast food jobs are now careers. These are the new careers in America. So people that spend $80,000 on a college degree are working at a Starbucks or a McDonald's or Taco Bell. It's shocking. It really, really is. Shifting gears here for a minute, I want to go over a few of these last articles. This one was sent to me last night by Brian, and this was absolutely shocking. And this is coming from the Los Angeles Times. Over 40,000 eviction notices have gone out in LA this year, many to upscale apartments. Now, I'm not going to go over the whole article, but just a couple little tidbits here. Promenade Towers in Los Angeles, 611 units. It bills itself as an urban oasis in the heart of downtown LA. Well, out of that 611 units, 371 eviction notices were received by its tenants from January to July. That is absolutely mind-blowing. 1600 Vine, a Hollywood building, has 375 units. It attracts social media influence. They apparently have nice balconies facing downtown, probably so you can see all the tents and all the garbage in the streets. But 313 of those 375 units received eviction notices. Unbelievable. LA Times. Brian, thanks for sending that and bringing that to my attention. 40,000 eviction notices. Anybody telling you that things are fine or they're improving, the consumer's strong, these people are out of their minds. I mean, I can't even believe this. Over 40,000 eviction notices have gone out in LA. Brian, thank you for sending that. My friend Matt sent me something here from the Daily Mail today. Chicago's famed Signature Room restaurant atop its iconic John Hancock Tower announces its closure. This restaurant opened 30 years ago. It is no longer safe to go there. They had to close down. What a shame. Being somebody who grew up in Chicago, a once beautiful city full of history, beautiful galleries, museums, a big sports town, some of the best food in all of America. Just, you know, had a great time growing up in Chicago, had some really, you know, great times, great people, and again, very, very good food. 30 years, the Signature Room is closing. What a shame, because it's too scary, it's too dangerous. What a tragedy, ladies and gentlemen. And unfortunately, as I sit here today, it's only going to get worse. I'm going to wrap it up with this last article. This came out about 3 days ago. I was reading it on CNBC. and I didn't get time to get to it, but Costco is selling gold bars and they are selling out within a few hours, it says. That's the title of the article on CNBC. Gold has risen around 15% this year. It's up 55% over the last 5 years. Chief Financial Officer at Costco, Richard Galante, said the bars are in hot demand and don't last long when in stock. They limit to members only can buy. The company has also accelerated its offerings of dried food and survival goods. So somebody at Costco is doing their homework, and it's amazing. Their emergency foods, their dry foods sell out very, very quickly. And it says right here that right here in the title, Costco is selling gold bars and they are selling out within hours. So I guess if Costco says we got gold bars, then everybody buys them. You can buy gold anytime, and now that it's been really pushed down a bit here in the last couple weeks, it's probably a good time to really think about getting a little bit of gold, getting some more emergency food, getting some canned food, working on your skills, making sure you have security. You know, see, here's the difference with people who have security versus people who don't. Nothing is 100%, nothing is foolproof, but the people without security, they're going to be the first victims. They're going to be the people that just sit there and basically have an accident in their diapers and roll over and scream and beg for their life and have to hand over all their assets. Me personally, yes, you can always be outnumbered, but at the end of the day, I would rather die standing and fighting than sitting in my living room begging on my hands and knees for somebody not to take my life while they take everything I've worked so hard for. If I'm going down, then, you know, other people are going to have to come with me, and that's just the bottom line. You know, really interesting. If you know, people say, well, you know, if you're all by yourself, look, there are strength in numbers. There's no doubt about it. You don't want to be a lone wolf. And this is why I have a lot of contacts. This is why I train with a lot of people. And there is strength in numbers. There's no doubt about it. But you don't need huge numbers. And I'm just going to tell people, go back. If you want to see what a social breakdown looks like, go back to the LA riots, the Los Angeles riots in the early 90s, and watch some videos. I want everybody to do that. Watch some videos of the Los Angeles riots. You want to see how quickly a society can break down and how dangerous it is? Watch that, because that's going to be a wake-up call to how fast things can break down. But more so, if you look, there were specials done, you can find them on YouTube, about the Asian community and how a lot of the Asian community band together. And there were buildings out there where you would see 5, 6, 7, 8 Asian gentlemen with weapons on rooftops. And they were the only buildings that didn't burn down. Now, thousands of people were rioting. Thousands of people were attacking people and pulling people out of cars. You remember the truck driver, they were burning down buildings. They were just destroying the city, okay? Thousands of people. It was just absolutely out of control. But thousands of people out of control, yet you had 10 Asian gentlemen on a rooftop on a building in LA. And guess what? Nobody messed with it. Nobody touched it. Nobody burned it down. You know, so 10 gentlemen stopped thousands of people from burning their building down. How come all the other buildings got burnt down, but theirs didn't? Even though it was only 10 gentlemen versus tens of thousands of people in the streets. It wasn't worth it to go to those buildings. It wasn't worth it. They went to the buildings where there was no security, where there was nobody on the rooftops. You know, the same people who have no training, no tools, no skill sets, the people that are just going to beg for their lives, who are going to just sit there and allow you to take everything. Versus the people on the rooftop who said, you're not burning our building down, you're not taking what we work for. It wasn't thousands of these guys on a rooftop. It was like 10. There were thousands of people in the street, but again, it didn't take much common sense to figure out, hey, let's not go there because you may be the one person that doesn't go home tonight. See, that's the thing. Like, yeah, they could have been rushed, but how many people would have lost their lives because those guys meant business? And they might have died, they might have had their building burnt down, but guess what? There would have been a lot of dead people. A lot of people would have lost their lives doing it. And it wasn't worth it to the rioters to take that chance. So you may not have 50 or 100 people on your property protecting it. Maybe it's you and 2 good friends. Maybe it's 3 friends. Maybe it's 5 friends. But if 50 people want to come to that property and you have 3 to 5 trained people, those people made a bad choice. And is it really worth their life? They're going to go to the properties where people won't fight, where people won't defend it, where people are going to roll over, where they're going to mess up their diapers and beg for their lives. That's where they're going. These people know that it's not worth their life. That's why they're not robbing gun stores, okay? Because they know what's going to happen. And if you had armed security allowed to do their jobs in these cities at these stores, if they were really allowed to do their jobs, this would never ever happen. So yes, it's good. I believe strength in numbers, okay? I do believe that. But it doesn't take a whole lot of people who are organized and skilled to stop a lot of dangerous people, okay? Because those people realize it's not worth their life. If Nordstrom's had armed security in downtown LA and they were allowed to use it, they would never get robbed. Those people would go to other stores and rob the stores that don't have the armed security, okay? Just go back to the LA riots, look at the social destruction that took place, and YouTube, the Asians that were protecting their stores. And you'll see that it didn't take a whole lot of people. It just took a small group of people who were willing to fight. And all those bad people just said it's not worth it. So something to think about there. A little bit goes a long way, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit of security, a little bit of training, a little bit of fight goes a long way, because these are cowards. These are cowards that are going into these stores. These are cowards that burn down buildings. These are cowards that attack people when they're not looking, attacking elderly, attacking women. These are cowards. They're never going to go to that near that rooftop with those Asian gentlemen with those weapons, because they know exactly what would happen to them. It doesn't take 1,000 people on the rooftop. It took 10 to stop thousands of people. Let me repeat that. It just took 10 people to stop an entire city from burning their buildings down, because they were willing to fight, they had the weapons, and they were just not going to allow what they worked so hard for to be taken. And again, 1,000 people could have rushed that building, but man, a lot of people weren't going to be going home, and they knew that. It wasn't worth it, so they're going to go to the easy targets. Don't be an easy target. God bless.